And welcome everyone to Josh's wrestling show. Um, this is my first show doing wrestling as the topic, or sports entertainment, whichever way you would like to put it. Um, there'll be a few topics we'll be discussing. Wrestlemania will be probably the most important. NXT Takeover was earlier tonight. That's going to be something that we're going to be talking about first. Joining me is another enthusiastic fan, DG, who will be putting
Yeah,
in his 2 cents from time to time. And
yeah.
Black Queen, she's here. She may just be here for the fuck of it, but she may like wrestling. Who knows? We'll see.
I support.
Um, she supports. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start off with NXT Takeover Dallas. That's one of NXT's specials. In the old days we used to call them pay-per-views,
Yep.
but you can only watch these on the WWE network. So if you do not have the WWE network, you are fucked. Yes, this is it's going to have some explicit language in it, so just telling you ahead of time. But
Shit gets very politically incorrect over here.
It is politically. It may be my wrestling show, but it's on the politically incorrect channel, so shit gets politically incorrect around here. DG, would you like to start off to talk about NXT Dallas?
Oh, okay. NXT Dallas took NXT Dallas. There was NXT Takeover Dallas. The results was the first match was for the NXT Tag Team Championships. It was between the match was the Revival Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson versus American Alpha Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. The result of the match was there's a new NXT Tag Team Champions, American Alpha, defeat the Revival.
And what would you do? You follow NXT on a regular basis, or you're
Uh,
not a subscriber of the network?
I'm not subscribed to the network, but I read stuff on like the different wrestling websites, or might catch like their matches on YouTube.
And what do you think about the developmental territory? Do you think it's a plus or a negative? Some people are saying that the developmental territory is becoming too big of a brand on its own,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah,
WWE
yeah,
should
yeah,
extend it and make it a separate brand, while
yeah,
others are
yeah.
still saying it should be used as a developmental territory still.
Yes, yes, I can see both sides of it. 'Cause, there's like a couple big names indie wrestlers that already started their own right for the NXT. And there's like like people that's trying to make their name there, make their name in NXT.
Now,
And
are
I,
you surprised that AJ Styles, for example, are you surprised they didn't make him go through the developmental system and just
mm,
signed him directly to a WWE contract?
uh, I would probably
The
say
only reason I ask is because they had Samoa
I
Joe.
probably would say no, yeah, cause AJ been wrestling for years, and he has established himself in other companies like TNA or ROH, New Japan, and
Yeah,
then also he was also at the end of for WCW when folded. He was in there the last
he
year.
was actually in WWE for a
Yeah,
short time before they let him
yes,
go
yes,
as well.
yes. He's like one of the guys that used to wrestle like on Heat and like met
What are the C
Velocity.
shows?
Yeah,
I like to call those the
Velocity.
C shows that WWE used to
Yeah,
run.
yeah, the D shows.
The wrestling spotlight
Yeah, yeah,
superstars.
Sunday Night Heat.
And
Heat
when Sunday Night Heat first
Velocity.
came out, though, when Sunday Night Heat first came out, though, and I don't know if you're too young to remember or
Yes, I
if this
remember.
is still in your wheelhouse.
This is in
When
my
Sunday Night
wheelhouse.
Heat first started, when Sunday Night Heat first started, it was actually pretty good. It was live,
Yeah,
and they had all the top wrestlers. It was still only an hour,
yeah,
but they still had the top wrestlers, and
yeah,
it wasn't like a magazine show. And it kind of turned into that when it left its original home and moved on over to MTV. That's
yeah,
when Sunday Night Heat really started to flail and
yeah.
became, you know, the show that you could literally piss on and not care about. But the only reason I asked you about AJ Styles is because we have wrestlers like Samoa Joe, who's been
Yeah.
through the exact same situation.
Yes, he
But
down
again, he
NXT.
was signed to an NXT contract and still has
Yes,
not been brought up
yes,
to the main roster.
yes. It's been rumors that they might bring up after Mania.
I've heard those rumors as well. Let's go on to our next match at
The next
WWE
the
Takeover,
next match
NXT
was
Takeover.
a new signee who made debut tonight, Austin Aries, who used to be in TNA,
Yeah, this
versus
you're seeing a. Oh, go ahead.
versus Baron Corbin,
Yeah,
and
Baron
also,
Corbin, somebody who's been in NXT a very long time and still has not been brought up to the main roster.
yes, Austin Aries won his debut match.
Yeah, Austin Aries, he was another one of the. Of course, when somebody leaves the company, they usually say good things about that company,
Yeah,
and then they will talk
he
about.
basically Austin Aries basically shit on TNA basically.
Yeah, as soon as their contracts up, they're able to do a shoot interview about TNA in particular. Um, they usually shit on, like you said, shit on the company, as in late paychecks, very poor management. The head of talent right now is Big John uh, Gabruick or whatever the hell his name is. He used to be with WWE a long time ago, and doesn't quite have the eye for talent. Austin Aries, I could see him definitely have signing to an NXT contract ahead of time though, versus joining the main roster. But and him winning his first match, well, that goes without saying. Um, but it wasn't a surprise to me that Austin Aries signed to NXT. It was, you take the looked over and the passed over quote unquote stars that TNA, and yes, I'm not the biggest fan of TNA. I kind of like TNA back before Jeff Jarrett sold the majority stake to Dixie Carter, and
Yeah,
she's kind of made a shit show of that entire promotion, especially when she brought in Hulk Hogan and all the old washed up.
yeah, yeah. It's coming.
Couldn't even wrestle.
Yeah, TNA hanging on by a thread. They're still surviving.
It's a very slim thread, my man. When they're getting canceled by Spike TV,
Yeah,
and then they moved to Destination America,
yeah.
which,
Got
to
canceled
be
there. Got
totally
canceled
honest,
there.
I didn't even have Destination America, and I'm not going to pay like for an extra package to get a show that is mostly about barbecue pitmasters, and
Yeah. Now,
then
they're on a channel called
Destination America
Talk.
cancels. Yeah, Destination America cancels you after 6 months, and you get moved to the old TV Guide network, which is now
Uh,
Pop.
yeah,
When their biggest show is our old reruns of General Hospital or some soap opera. TNA is pulling in about 200,000 viewers a week. It's I honestly can't believe that it's 200,000. I mean, if you watched it lately, and when your champion is Matt Hardy, and then now
well,
it's
well,
now
yes,
it's Drew McIntyre, Drew
yeah,
Galloway, whatever the hell
yeah.
he wants
Drew
to call himself.
Galloway. Because they will take it so technically people Hardy's still champion until they actually show that they're taping,
Yeah, and
they pre-tape
they
too.
take it 2 months in fucking advance. You know, it's a shit show operation they have, and total nonstop action, which is also funny because it's anything but total nonstop action.
Yeah, yeah, I think that was the original name when it was on Spike. When they used to have
Yeah, it was
the old
NWA
intro,
TNA.
it was like TNA wrestling crossed the line.
Yeah, it was actually better. Uh, it wasn't great by any means, but it was better then than it is now.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a time when TNA was considered the number 2 wrestling promotion,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they're not considered. They're not.
yeah. For a time, it was actually kind of it was getting
They were
ranked
at least
close to
pulling. They were
SmackDown.
at least pulling over ones. They were pulling over
Yeah,
ones
yeah. They're
in
close
the
to
ratings,
SmackDown at the
and
time. I think
they were doing a million, usually generating a million less viewers than SmackDown,
yeah,
but they were at least doing respectable. You know, at least they were pulling in 1.5 million viewers a week.
yeah,
You know, it not like, I mean, shows get canceled for, and they won't last on Pop TV either. It'll be and then they'll be on some other channel that nobody cares about. And you know, Pop TV they broadcast in standard definition. So if you want to watch a brilliant TNA Impact, you got to watch it in standard definition, which is just so great on a high definition television set. But that was the Austin Aries debut versus Finn Balor.
yeah. The next match was
We
another
have
debut. Debut was it was
that
Sensuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn,
yeah. Now
and
his Shinsuke Sakamura, he has been hyped up
wrestling.
for months about
Yeah,
signing to
yeah,
NXT,
yeah. Because
and
remember
he was
that was reported back in
really
January. He's one of the guys that reported it was him, AJ Styles, and Carl
and
Anderson,
Doc Galloway or
Luke Gallows coming back to the
yeah,
company.
Doc Gallows is what he was going by in New Japan. It's
Yeah.
Luke Gallows. Anyone that doesn't follow wrestling, it's the same guy that used to be in the Straight Edge Society or
Yeah, then
Festus,
also
Jesse and
Festus. He was Festus. The guy whenever he'll be stoned. He'll be like
yes, he
stoned
was
until he
that
rung
guy.
the bell. Till he rung the bell, then he'll get raw, get angry, and start whooping ass.
And apparently, uh, from well, to keep it more linear, with I think they're going to be doing with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallo, they're going to be bringing. They might start this in NXT. I wouldn't want to see it in NXT, but um,
The
the
Bullet Club.
Balor Club. Well, it's the
The
Bullet Club,
Balor Club.
but it's copyrighted, so they're
Yeah,
thinking of 2 names. One's Balor Club or
yeah,
Bulletproof,
yeah. The
and whichever
Bulletproof.
one they go by, they're still going to do the exact same. It's still going to be the exact same gimmick, which is very popular.
Yeah. Hearing reports that they might appear on appear on Monday Night Raw.
Well, yeah, reason being that there's so many injured superstars right now, and
Yeah,
they're been trying to hold off on bringing up more people from NXT because of these superstars will eventually be coming back and they're going to want their spots. But you can only do that for so long, especially
yeah,
right now when your top man John Cena's out
yeah,
with an injury, and your Randy Orton, who's supposed to be coming back next month, I heard, is out with an injury.
yeah.
Um, I could just keep going. I mean, there's so many people out with an
Cesaro,
injury.
Seth
Cesaro,
Rollins.
Tyson Kidd, Seth Rollins.
Yeah. I don't know about Tice Kid. Tice Kid might end up retiring.
He might have to. It was a pretty serious neck injury. And speaking of neck injuries and retirements, I do want to say that It's unfortunate that Brian Danielson
Yeah.
had to retire, but it was the best thing for his health.
Yeah.
Not going to be a bunch of assholes and say, get into the ring, even though you're
Yeah.
going to have the brain of an 80-year-old man by the time you're 40.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how fucking
Yeah.
selfish are some of us
Wrestling
fans?
fans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
The
don't realize stuff.
IWC, which I am a part of because I do look at the internet, and I am a fan of wrestling, and I do look at the internet to watch, to catch up on things. And I think that there's a great majority of the IWC that is very, very selfish. Oh, clear him. Yeah, why don't we just break his neck and kill him in the middle of the ring? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Then people forgot about the guy in Mexico that died in the Mysterio match.
yeah, he was dead before the match was even over. Before Rey Mysterio even did the 619, the man was dead. He did it on a dead man. But Shinsuke Nakamura debuted against who?
Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn,
Oh, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, 'cause I think it might be Sami Zayn last match in NXT.
Yeah, he's coming up to the main
Yeah,
roster
yeah,
on
he
Fallen
been
Mania.
up. He been up for the last couple weeks. I remember he came
Yep,
back like
he's going to be doing.
last month, and after remember he
I think
helped
they're
out
using
Neville. He helped Neville
they're going to be
out.
using him to. They're going to be using him to work a program with Kevin Owens
Yeah, yeah, bring
and
back the rivalry from the Indie and
yeah,
NXT.
from Ring of Honor in particular. But let's see, we had Sami Zayn, who was actually when before he was, I'm sorry, after he had to take off the mask and he was El Generico in Ring of Honor. He is actually uh, one of the top wrestlers in wrestling right now. I mean, I don't know if he's one of the top guys yet, but he's one of the top wrestlers, one of the best hands. Um, and let's go on to the next match.
Next match was NXT Women's Time match: Bailey versus
Uh, Oxoro, who came from Japan, used to be
Oh, she has hard
Kana
matches.
Kana Kana in Japan.
yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah,
has very, very. She's a very hard worker. Is when I say
yeah,
hard, I mean she strikes her. She's not a.
Yeah,
She's a stiff. She fights stiff. She
yeah,
wrestles very stiff. So
yeah,
she has been known to accidentally injure opponents,
yes,
but she's very entertaining to watch. And if you want to watch women's wrestling, NXT's the place to watch it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause
If you want to
last
watch it
year
on Raw, you want to water it down.
the Sasha Banks
Bailey two matches. Charlotte versus Sasha Banks.
Great matches. And it shows that these women can actually put on decent matches
Charlotte
given the proper time.
versus Natalia was a good match.
Completely underrated when it comes to the WWE divas. She's not used the way she should be used. She should be pushed. I mean, I know she's been in the WWE a long time now, but she's, 32 years old. She's not anywhere near an old lady. So she definitely has another push in her, and a push towards a championship would be nice.
yeah. I think
Natalia younger than Bella.
Yeah, Natalia gets robbed on the main, but she does so much extra. But she doesn't.
Yeah.
From what she has said, she doesn't want to be the ambassador. She wants to be in the ring more, and she deserves to be because she really is that good. And
Yeah. She tend to do other stuff, kind of like that's what Lisa Fox does too. She does ambassador stuff too.
yeah, that's the Alicia Fox isn't. Why she's very, very pretty. She doesn't have the same technical prowess that
Natalia.
Natalya has. Alicia Fox is a very pretty face,
Very
and
humble. She's a very humble
that,
person. She don't.
yeah, she just doesn't have the technical skills
Yeah,
that Natalya has, or
yes.
even half the roster has.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Natalia's one of the best.
as far as female wrestling, NXT's really right now it's the place to
Yeah.
watch it. I mean, when they brought up Charlotte, Becky Lynch,
And Sasha Banks.
and Sasha Banks, it almost for me was like, oh no, that is going to hurt the NXT women's division. But
It did for a minute. It did for a minute, but they still barely they signed
yeah, well,
Oxero, and
NXT is
they
always
had a couple other
yeah,
people down there who was actually a good wrestler.
NXT's always NXT's always hiring, and they're always hiring the best of the best. So you'll always find a good match,
Yeah.
and that was for the women's championship.
Oxera won, dethroned Bailey. She knew.
Oh, that's actually a good thing. They
Yeah,
can do a
yeah,
rematch, maybe,
yeah.
or
Rematch
they
or
can finally
Bailey
bring
Bailey up.
Bailey up to the main roster.
Yeah.
That's where she belongs. And what was the match after that? I'm
The
sorry, I'm
last
looking at the exact same thing you are, but I'm
the
trying
last
to.
match was Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe.
That was the big one that they were going for. Now
Yeah, in NXT.
both these guys are probably going to be pushed up to the main roster. I would
Yes.
say Monday for one, maybe Monday for both, but at least one of them's coming up to the main roster on Monday.
Yes, and basically Finn Balor still NXT champion.
And that's nothing new about somebody being the NXT champion and still coming to the main roster. That's
Yes,
happened more than once now.
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens, Sasha Banks, she even came to the main roster as
Yeah,
women's champion.
He was NXT Women's Champion.
But we have some a little bit of for the night after WrestleMania this Sunday, April 3rd. We have a few rumors going around, and one of the rumors that I read, and it's about the Divas division,
Yes,
is that
rebranded. Then
on
they
Monday, yes, DG, hold on, DG, hold on, man, yes, DG, that they are going to. I don't necessarily know if they're going to stop using the word diva. I mean, they have a whole show called Total Divas, but the championship is going to change on Monday back to the women's championship. And from what I haven't seen a picture of it yet, but from the accounts that I've heard, that it looks very much like the men's championship.
Yes, I heard that. Heard they going to give a new belt to whoever wins the triple threat match.
I'm thinking it's going to be Sasha Banks.
Yes,
That would be my guess.
yes. I'm thinking gonna be Sasha Banks.
I mean, Sasha, she's a very popular. She was in NXT, and she was one of the most popular to come up to the main roster. But if you ask me, she hasn't dazzled me yet. I think WrestleMania, even though I'm usually not a fan of three-way matches, this Sunday it'll be a time that they will have a chance, if given the time, will have a chance to prove themselves as, the new generation of divas. Paige has already done that. She's cemented herself as she can carry a match. The new Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky Lynch have not been able to cement that because they've been doing a lot of matches with each other. They need to prove that they can have that kind of match with anybody. And some of their matches, the same matches that they were having in NXT, they just haven't been as good on the main roster. You could definitely see some fuck-ups here and some fuck-ups there, and it's like you weren't having these matches, these botches, while you were in the developmental. It's like now's not a time to get lazy, gals. You can always pop back down to the developmental. You know, they could pull an Emma on you and send you back down to developmental.
Yeah. It's kind of unfortunate because Emma actually is a good wrestler.
She's great. She got fucked over.
Yeah, she did a couple things like the incident where she got caught when stealing something. She kind of got punished for that.
Yeah, and that's how WWE punishes you now. Not fully. I mean, sometimes they'll outright fire you or suspend you, but if you do the smallest thing, they might send your ass back down to NXT. And I guess stealing is not a small thing, but I don't know what that has to do with her being a sports entertainer / professional wrestler. It's kind of like what happened Alex Riley when he was with The Miz for as long as he was, and then he finally got his big singles push. He was going in a momentum to where it was like, okay, well, this guy is going to be a future, star. And his momentum was quickly halted by, well, John Cena. John Cena and Alex Riley. It wasn't so much that Alex Riley didn't like John Cena. John Cena felt that Alex Riley was being put in a position to be pushed faster than he was and was sent back down to NXT. It was one of the examples where John Cena kept somebody down. It doesn't happen as often as people say. People think John Cena's the devil and he's the worst wrestler ever. He's by far, he's carried the company for the last, since at least 2005 as WWE champion.
Yeah.
Give the guy some slack. But have you heard any other rumors that are gonna be going on between now and WrestleMania or the night after WrestleMania?
I've been hearing that there might be a possible interference in the Ambrose Brock Lesnar match.
I've heard the exact same. And I am thinking that it's probably going to be a Wyatt family member, because I know they've been trying to get that feud started for a while.
Yeah. Probably anybody except for Luke Harper. Luke Harper had a bad injury last
Luke
Monday.
Harper's out with an injury right now. Yeah. He's recovering from a knee injury, but he's not such a big name that the show cannot go on without Luke Harper. I'd really hate at this point in time to see. I just would hate to see it this time.
Bray Wyatt has a bad back, so I thought it might be him.
I would hate at this time to see I would hate to see a Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar match, because Braun Strowman has absolutely no ability whatsoever than the ability to do a bear hug. And it would just turn out to be a boring match. Now, if Braun Strowman were to go and actually learn how to wrestle instead of getting pushed right to the main card, it would, it might make for a decent match right now. No, but I'm thinking a Wyatt family member. As you said, Bray Wyatt is injured again. He's not out with the injury, but he is definitely nursing an injury.
Yes, his back. So possibly he could kind of interfere and not really risk himself too much in the match.
And nobody really wants to see Eric Rowan versus Brock Lesnar. I mean, I know I don't. And I represent a fan, and a dedicated fan, and a fan that would think an Eric Rowan Brock Lesnar match would be boring as hell.
Yeah,
Brock
yeah,
Lesnar only has but so many matches a year, and
yeah,
to give up one of his spots where he does wrestle versus an Eric Rowan, I would I would not I would not be a big fan of.
yeah, yeah. That's
On
what
the T,
that's one thing is Bray, because remember they teased it back at the Royal Rumble where the Wyatt family eliminated Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. They teased it
right,
then.
right. That's where I'm getting the. It's going to be a Bray Wyatt interference because they're not going to have Brock Lesnar, the man who ended the Undertaker's undefeated streak, flat out lose his match. It just won't happen. It will have to be due to some sort of interference.
Yeah, yes, because it's no disqualification. It's a street fight.
Yeah,
Dean Ambrose gonna put on a show regardless. Gonna take
Dean
all the
Ambrose is
risks.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
Dean
He kind
Ambrose
of, he kind
is
of, he
one of
kind of, he kind of
my
have this,
most.
he kind of have the stone, he kind of have this stone cold aspect
Yeah,
where he do anything.
I like the fact that even in the PG era of WWE, they're still letting him being called the lunatic fringe,
Yeah,
and he at least has some sort of attitude. I mean, if you really think back, and a lot of wrestling fans aren't old enough to remember this, they have just either have heard that how great the Attitude Era was,
yeah.
or have seen little snippets. I lived through the Attitude Era,
I did too.
and Attitude Era was great. Don't get me wrong, but there were a lot of foul ups during the Attitude Era as well.
Yeah,
I mean, when I go back, especially on the network, and watch some of they have they at least had some of the Attitude Era shows on the network, and you know it, you got to imagine it was pretty much the same as it is now, except the some of the storylines were just a little bit more adult. Now, I will say that was a good thing that they were a little bit more adult, but some of them borderlined on silly.
yeah,
Like they were so like they needed that TV-14 because it was a lot of poop jokes and it was stuff
yeah.
that you know if you're a fucking hillbilly that
Yeah.
lives on a farm, you might
I,
think's funny.
I talking about the Godwins. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yes, the
Then,
Godwins were,
then
and then
remember
they
that,
tried to
remember that
they were trying to
the artist formerly known as Gold Dust.
yeah, and they tried to rebrand the Godwins as Dennis Knight and Mark Canterbury, Southern Justice. It was just a really ugh. And Vince Russo takes all accolades from when the Attitude Era was going on, except he wasn't there for a large portion of it. He was down helping sync WCW.
Yeah, yeah,
He
because he
doesn't
left.
understand.
Yeah, because he left after the. I think he left shortly after the Owen Hart death incident. That was his fault. It was his fault.
The
The reason why
people,
Owen died.
well, people weren't exactly in the know that Vince Russo, while he was one of the writers, and Brian Gerwitz was one of the writers, and they both left and went to WCW. They didn't know how much filter they had on them from Vince McMahon. They might toss out 100 storylines, and Vince McMahon might greenlight one of them, and then tweak it to the point where only bits and pieces left of their original storylines, because when they had free reign in WCW to write the
Yeah,
stories were, I mean, it was getting bad, and then when they brought
yeah.
them in, it became
That's the
abominable.
final nail in the
Yeah,
final nail in the coffin. Remember when they tried to save face when they made David Arquette the WCW champion?
they made him the champion. They had a Buff Bagwell's mom on a like forklift match. It was just a bunch of really
Yeah.
stupid shit.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's why remember I think it was one when he made Jeff Jarrett lay down and Hogan refused to pin Jeff Jarrett. You like
Oh,
saying?
Hogan pinned him. The way the story had gone was um, Hogan had creative control, which I don't know why you would ever give your employee creative control, especially in an entertainment business. And Hogan wanted to come back as Hollywood Hulk Hogan and wanted to win the championship. And under his contract, that's exactly what he could have. He could become champion whenever he wanted. And at the time, Jeff Jarrett uh, was a big. Russo was really high on Jarrett, as though Jarrett should be. Which, to be totally honest, Jarrett was a WWE mid carder, and that's about where he belonged. Like an IC champion,
Yeah.
not as world heavyweight champion or whatever, WWE champion or WWE world heavyweight champion. And Vince Russo had it in his mind that Jeff Jarrett was, this huge underrated performer. While he could technically wrestle, he needed a gimmick, and his gimmick was JEFF JARRE double T. And you know what? That gimmick got him over to the point where people loved to see him as a heel, and but he didn't draw. He didn't draw a dime. People didn't go see Monday Night Raws or live shows because Double J was going to be there.
Yeah.
And you certainly aren't going to draw people to a Monday Nitro because Double J is your fucking champion, or Jeff
Yeah.
Jarrett at the time is your fucking main guy.
Yeah.
And
Then also a bad part that Brett ended up getting hurt too.
and Brett he had a total of about 17 appearances in WCW.
Yeah.
Wrestled 17 horrible matches. He had one decent angle where Goldberg went to spear him, and Brett was wearing like a bulletproof vest or whatever.
Yeah, it was like a metal plate.
That was pretty cool. Thing that stands on memory as to what Bret Hart actually did in WCW. Bret Hart should have been the next day on Monday Nitro. As soon as the Calgary, Alberta screw job happened, the very next day he should have been on Monday Nitro.
They dropped the ball on that big time. Because
WWE picked that ball up and ran with it.
Yeah, especially after Vince did the Brett School Brett interview.
That was great. It turned Vince McMahon into the biggest wrestling heel of all time.
Yeah.
Because Vince McMahon, off of that, had the Mr. McMahon character, and he became the biggest heel of his own company, which was fantastic.
Because before then, Vince would announce matches.
Yeah, he was known as the commentators. I mean, some people in the know, like Smarks, knew that Vince McMahon was secretly the owner of the company, but there were a lot of fans at the time that just thought he did play-by-play announcing. And he was a great play-by-play man, and he really wasn't. But it's a devastating maneuver. It was one of his taglines because he didn't know the difference between a hammer lock and a wrist lock. Or a master lock.
Yeah, they also look in there's a couple of botches, like in '97 Royal Rumble where Stone Cold botched the match.
Yeah,
he actually went over and he jumped back in, and the referee didn't see him.
That wasn't a botch. That was not a botch. That was planned through the entire. Stone Cold went over the top rope more than once in that match, and he just kept sneaking back in.
Yeah.
That's how he won the Royal Rumble that year, and it was great. It was one of those things that helped fuel. Let's cheer for this guy who is obviously a heel.
Yes, and a rule breaker.
But he's a heel that everybody can get behind because people wanted to live out their dreams through somebody, they could sympathize, empathize with wanting to tell your boss, to fuck off.
Yeah.
And Stone Cold was that guy.
Yes, and then also Stern and Vince McMahon on multiple occasions.
And Vince McMahon always sold the stunner in the
Yeah.
most ridiculous ways.
Yeah.
Either his mouth would be open or his eyes would be like rolling into the back of his head. It was great. Great. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
much great stuff about the Attitude
Yeah.
Era, and that is true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
No, I think the Rock sold it the best. It was kind of funny. I think Rock took one and you look kind of funny doing it.
the thing is, though, is that there are still plenty of quality matches on Raw,
Yeah,
and there are still decent storylines. But when you keep craving, oh, bring the Attitude Era back, bring the Attitude Era back, it's not going to happen. WWE is a billion-dollar corporation. They have deals with Mattel.
yeah, yeah.
They
It's
have all
public
these
trade now.
sponsors. They have all these sponsors.
Yeah,
They can't, whip out, the tits and ass, which is one of the
yeah,
parts that I do miss about the Attitude Era.
yeah.
I
Just
will say, if I have
The
to miss
TNA and
something,
more violence. It was more
if
violence
I had
in
to miss something, it would be the fact that there was so much tits and ass
there.
out during the Attitude Era,
Yeah,
and we don't really get that so much in the TV PG era.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. A little more hardcore matches and you saw more blood.
you kind of understand, though,
Yeah,
that the reason they stopped doing headshots is because
concussion.
concussions are a major thing. They're a major thing in all of sports, let alone sports
Yeah,
entertainment.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Chair shots and like the power drivers too.
yeah, would you rather have your favorite wrestler or your favorite heel or your favorite, baby face or heel wrestle another 5 years because they're your favorite, or would you rather them continue taking headshots with chairs and possibly do a Chris Benoit and
Yeah,
or
ladder.
end their career much much earlier?
Yeah, ladder retire early and try and live somewhat a normal life.
Yeah, and or if you can try to avoid these things earlier on,
Yeah,
maybe they can wrestle a lot longer.
yeah, yeah. That's why they
I'm just
eliminate them
reading.
like chair shots. Then they like chair
Yeah,
shots and
the
like the power driver.
chair shots to the chair shots to the back. The pile driver's banned. The only person I think that's allowed to use the pile driver is the Undertaker,
Yes,
because I guess he's one of the safest guys to work with.
yes,
Um,
and Kane do it every once in a while. Kane don't do it as often. He does
the
it.
power bomb, it's been banned, but occasionally you'll see the power bomb. Um, if it
Yeah,
makes sense, blood. This is one of the things about the PG era that I don't like. Blood is forbidden, so they can't blade themselves. If nobody knows what blading means, it's
yeah,
them cutting themselves and making it look like they were hurt during the match.
yeah. I know.
And now somebody gets cut during a match, a doctor will try to rush into the middle of the match and try to stop the bleeding, which is ridiculous. It interrupts the flow. And when this last year at Survivor Series, The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, they had both decided ahead of time that they were going to blade. They were going to show color. And what are you going to say to Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker? Were you going to fire them? Absolutely
No.
not. Are you going to yell at them? Yeah, that they tried, and they got the one look like, hey, this is I'm the Undertaker. That's Brock Lesnar. It only made sense to show blood. But they hate it when that happens, because then the next night on television or the next week after that, when they show the match, because it has the PG rating on Raw and SmackDown, they have to put put it in black and white.
Yes.
But I'm reading another rumor that just came out today that John Cena is actually cleared to return to the ring. So who knows? Maybe he'll show up at WrestleMania.
He
They're
might.
teasing a
Yeah.
heel turn.
Yeah. Yeah. He might.
And
He could interfere during the Shane McMahon Undertaker match.
that would be great for John Cena because John Cena, while he does sell the most merchandise, and it would probably hurt his pocketbook. I mean, not let alone the millions that he gets paid just for wrestling, but he gets a percentage of the merchandise that he sells. It might hurt his pocketbook to go heel, but that's where his character needs to go. His character needs to go back. He needs to do a heel turn. And I think if he did a heel turn, his character would become ridiculously popular again.
Yeah, it seem like right now it seems like he embraced like both sides, like the "Let's go Cena sucks" chants.
Yeah, he does. He is the consummate employee. He doesn't let the crowd get to him. That's something that Roman Reigns he needs to work on.
Yeah.
Batista when he came back, Blue Tista with those blue Bootista.
Yeah. Blue Tista. Then they call him Blue Tista because they ain't want to win the 2014 Royal Rumble.
Yeah, when he got booed, he didn't know how to handle it. He came back as a babyface, and he probably should have came back as a heel. But when they booed him, he showed that he was reacting to being booed, and you're never supposed to show that it bothers you one way or the other. John Cena does that perfectly. He embraces the noise. Because just remember, if they're not booing you or they're not cheering you, you're dead. Your career's over with.
Yeah.
If you hear nothing but crickets in that audience. Now, there's a such thing between good heat and bad heat.
Yeah.
You don't want bad heat. Like Roman Reigns right now gets bad heat.
Yeah.
Like his boos are to get him out. Like quit pushing this man.
Yeah.
Quit shoving him down our throats.
Yeah, that's just like when the beatdown when Triple H had the beat down, people cheering for Triple H and like they're doing like the yes yes chant. They're like yes yes. They doing like Daniel Bryan yes yes chant.
Because Roman Reigns is not ready. I'm sorry, WWE, and you know this. And WWE knows that the fans are not ready for Roman Reigns. They don't want Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Give him a couple more years of seasoning. Quit shoving him down our throats. The guy does 2 moves, and he does those poorly.
Yes, but the inevitables happening Sunday. Roman's going over. It's basically a done deal.
Oh, of course. Yeah. He'll go over, and I'm hoping if he doesn't go over, I'm hoping that it's John Cena that cost him the match. Like I really want to see a Cena heel turn. We got on a separate issue, as anybody that follows, or unless you don't have access to a computer or the internet, you might live under a rock. But we know that Bobby Roode has quits TNA. Finally.
Yes, Bobby
everybody's
Roode,
jumping from that sinking ship.
Yes, him and Eric Young. So basically, James Storm did kind of bad thing, kind of going back to
James Storm went back to TNA because TNA was offering him more money.
Yeah.
And they thought they were going to have a big reuniting between Bobby Roode and James Storm doing the beer money, and then Bobby Roode leaves the fucking company.
Yeah, so basically no more beer money.
No, beer money's done. James Storm is going to be twiddling his thumbs doing absolutely nothing.
Yes, and also heard room that WWE looking at both guys. I think they might, more like they might probably play Eric Young because they could do more with him.
They're going to keep him in NXT. I'm having a thing with Eric Young, and again, like he quit the same day as Bobby Roode. I do think Eric Young will sign an NXT contract, and I think they will use him to get people over. I don't think he'll ever make the main roster. Bobby Roode, I think, will sign at NXT. Will sign to NXT, and I think then eventually he'll make it to the main. He's more of a main roster type guy. I think the most you'll make at NXT is $94,000, which is still, better than not getting paid at all in TNA when your paychecks are coming late.
Yeah.
As with James Storm, that's why he left, is because WWE offered him a top tier NXT contract, which is $94,000, and TNA offered him twice that, which is fine. I mean, you go where the money is. I mean, if I was James Storm, I probably would have thought about my career. And, I mean, if they were going to use him to get people over and he was never going to leave NXT, if he would have just been an NXT guy, then he probably did the right thing by going back to TNA.
Yeah, like the two matches he had, I think he won both his matches in NXT that he had.
Yeah, well, they were courting to
Yeah.
sign him, and they offered him $94,000, and TNA offered him $200,000, of which they don't have. I mean, let's be honest, TNA's a broke-ass company. Sure, their parent company's Panda Energy. That's billions of dollars in an energy company. But TNA's the redheaded stepchild. That is Dixie Carter's own
Yeah.
personal project. Like, her parents bought her a wrestling company, and she doesn't know jack shit about wrestling. Obviously, it shows ever since she's taken over ownership.
Yes, and
But
Jared went on creating him another company, Global Force, which
Global Force.
which TNA had brought in had like a Global Force versus TNA for like a while.
Well, that was horrible. That was the only reason that even happened was Dixie Carter, another really shitty business move, was to get Jeff Jarrett to sell the remaining stock that he actually did own for in TNA, is that she let another company take part of her show. And not only did she let this other company take part in her show, but she let Jeff Jarrett win the King of the Mountain match. A guy that doesn't even work for the company, who's running a rival promotion. Dixie Carter. Stupid. Number one, you shouldn't even mention competition, especially if you are in the midst of competition, which TNA has plenty. WWE right now, unfortunately, doesn't have any competition. It would probably help WWE if they did have competition, but they don't have any competition. People want to go to WWE because, well, that's where the fame and that's where the money is. But on another...
Yeah, basically TNA got passed up by Ring of Honor, passed them up. Ring of Honor's number 2 now.
Your Ring of Honor minus the production quality, Ring of Honor puts on a much better show than TNA could dream of. TNA tries to copy WWE in their style, which they never will be able to do because only WWE can do their style. They try being an alternative instead of a competitor, because right now it's not looking like there's going to be any sort of competition for the WWE. I mean, I love all these other promotions. Like, I love Ring of Honor. Not too much of a TNA fan because they have really screwed the pooch in the last few years. I mean, the Aces and Eights storyline that went on for, 25, it felt like 25 years. But it was at least a year, and it was probably the worst storyline I'd ever seen in my life. And bring in, Brooke Hogan as the president of the Knockouts division, it's what? And Hulk Hogan is a guy that's there. He's hurt so bad in his back that he can't wrestle, and he's quote unquote running the company. And they were trying to use Hulk Hogan, and Eric Bischoff came down to TNA as a favor to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And Eric Bischoff, said it was a mess. He, hated his tenure in TNA. He never really had any plans to go to TNA, but it was a personal favor to Hulk Hogan. And yeah, we saw how that turned out.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan was just he was at the tail end of his career, which he should have been at the tail end of his career a while ago, maybe when he faced The Rock at WrestleMania 17. That was his really last, really good match. And that was partly due to The Rock, selling, the match.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one thing he could do. He could sell matches.
He can definitely sell it. He is what they like to call in the industry a draw.
Yeah.
And he can make a good guy, a good wrestler, look great, and make a great wrestler look like a legend, and make a legend look like they're immortal. And was Hulk Hogan for the immortal Hulk Hogan, which I do have a feeling, regardless of his racial slurs, that he will be brought back to the WWE probably sooner than we think.
Then he also won that lawsuit. Too.
Yeah, he won the law, and I'm not going to hold something that the man said in the privacy, what he thought was the privacy.
Yeah.
I don't know who's home. Bubba the Love Sponge's wife, while he was recording the sex.
Yeah.
Listen, a nigga is a nigga, okay? People call it like they see it. You don't want to be called a nigga. You don't want people to say niggas. Stop acting like niggas, okay? Niggas.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was on his daughter in the first place. And he was pissed off that his wife just left him, and he didn't want his daughter to, in his own words, well, I won't say the words, but he didn't want his daughter dating a Queen or DG can help me out here.
A nigga.
I don't want to drop the N-bomb. Yeah. And he was upset, rightfully so. He didn't know he was being recorded. I mean, people say things in the privacy they think is the privacy of their own lives, and aren't expecting somebody to be recording them.
How the hell can we have First Amendment rights when people are secretly recording people? Just like that shit, not to get off topic, but with the Nick Swaggy P thing and D'Angelo Russell recording him, you know what I'm saying? He ain't got free speech to say he cheating because this man done damn recorded him and put his business out.
Yeah, and that's Hulk Hogan, because that happened to him, his wrestling career. I mean, all that he's given to wrestling, it was literally wiped away within one night. I mean, they tried to scrub him completely off of the network.
Well, I'm sorry,
they fired
man.
him
I wouldn't
completely.
want my daughter to date a nigga either. And I don't want my son to date a nigga bitch. And hey, I don't want my son to date a nigga bitch. I'm sorry.
I would probably say I don't blame you. If somebody's going to be acting a certain way, it's the thing in that same conversation that Hulk Hogan was having. He said that because it was while his daughter was trying to get into the music industry, he had lined up Jamie Foxx to do a duet with her, and it was another one of the things he was pissed off about is when he said Jamie Foxx, he didn't call him out his name. He said, I lined up Jamie Foxx to do a song with her, and she's just shitting that opportunity away. So Hulk Hogan was talking about a certain element in the black community that he doesn't want his daughter to, fuck off and ruin her life over.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
because his daughter about my age. I think his daughter about 28.
yeah, yeah, and she looks hard though. Her face looks, whew, like yikes. Takes all that makeup on, or she's 6'2", or what her deal is. But she's like an Amazonian woman. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's move into WrestleMania and let's talk about well, I guess we got the night before. We have the Hall of Fame. Big inductee is Sting.
Yeah.
Ric Flair is going to be inducting him.
Yeah. Yeah,
I guess Sting's out of.
About Sting. He's saying that he's not gonna retire. Cause rumors saying that his neck is his neck is messed up, but he said he disproved. They say he's fine. He said he could return. He said he's not retiring.
Yeah, Sting is. Yeah, he's definitely. It's more kayfabe than anything about him retiring. I mean, more than likely we will see him in another match, maybe a match where he wins. But that's not what it's about with wrestling. They think wins and losses actually mean something. And Sting, was just happy to have a WrestleMania match and was happy to wrestle in a championship match. And he's an older guy. Let's be honest. Older guys are there to put people over. When
Yeah.
you're older, you put people over. You don't win.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's one of the things I don't understand about wrestling.
kind of like that. That's what Big Show doing. And people like
Yeah.
tell Big Show,
Big
please
Show, Mark
retire.
Henry.
Okay.
Big Show, Mark Henry, they've been in the business a long time. Their jobs are right now is to put people over.
Chris Jericho.
You lose. You try to bring up other wrestlers. Chris Jericho, he comes back for short 3 to 6 month stints almost each year, but he comes back now just to put people over. Why? Because he's achieved all that he needs to achieve. He's cemented himself as a 6-time world champion, 9-time intercontinental champion. And what more does he need to prove? He's there to put younger talent over. He'll be another match at this Sunday's WrestleMania, AJ Styles and Chris Jericho. And of course, Jericho's going to put AJ Styles over, and AJ Styles will emerge victorious, as well as he should. AJ Styles is the young blood, and Chris Jericho's there to put people over. So, I'm going with that match. Chris Jericho loses. AJ Styles wins clean.
Yeah, another match is Ryback versus
But
Kalisto. No, I don't know what they had on the pre-show. They should have it on the regular show instead of pre-show. Why on the U.S. Championship match on the pre-show?
yeah, they're even going to hold the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on the pre-show. Again, they did that last year as well.
Yeah.
But I guess I got to fill up an hour because a half hour of the pre-show is going to be free. You'll be able to watch it on Google, or not Google, but YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Or many of their other outlets. But then after a half hour, it goes directly into the WWE network. And to catch the second half hour of the pre-show, you have to have the network.
Yeah.
And
unless you know somebody who can link you, yeah, because that's like I think there's a website I used to watch. We
do not endorse anybody doing that. The WWE Network is only $9.99 a month. If you can't afford $10, then get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, their pay-per-views, WrestleMania alone used to be $79.
Yeah.
And now you can't spend fucking $10 for a network. I mean, give me a break.
Another aspect. ESPN gonna cover it all day long.
Yeah, the coach is going to be there from ESPN, former WWE employee. ESPN and WWE have a good working relationship. Apparently, from what I've heard, that's because of Jonathan Coachman.
Yeah, he pushed it. He been pushing it for the last
Todd
couple of
Grisham.
years. Yeah,
Todd Grisham went from the
used to be
WWE to ESPN as
ESPN.
well, but the coach had a much bigger involvement
Yeah.
in WWE management.
Yeah, because Murray is there doing the attitude. Rock used to kind of kick him around a little bit.
Oh yeah, the coach even had a few matches.
Yeah.
Former TNA champions seated ringside at Takeover Dallas. I want to click on this, but my computer's running slow. I'm going to click on it anyways. Might be Bobby Roode. I know that he has been addressed. NXT addressed Bobby Roode signing with the company at NXT Takeover, which I haven't watched yet, but I'm I will watch it before WrestleMania because I watched. Well, I might not catch all the shows, but I do watch all their Takeover specials.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Bobby Roode, of course. Former TNA World Championship Bobby Roode was seated at ringside for NXT Takeover Dallas and was shown on camera before the main event. And top Japanese free agent Kota Ibushi was also in attendance. So there's apparently two people that are going to be signing with the company. Like I said, the Bobby Roode does not surprise me whatsoever because he'll be on the main roster very soon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because basically there's a spot open since the Daniel Bryan retirement. There's a spot
that
that was
leaves a
open
big spot. Yeah, that's a really big spot. Somebody has to fill those shoes, and it's not going to be Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, he's good. He's not. He's an internet darling. Everybody in the IWC, I can't say everybody because I consider myself part of the internet wrestling community. Think that Kevin Owens is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but
Yeah.
Kevin Owens
He had
is
the ladder match. His ladder match.
Kevin Owens is good. He's not the greatest thing. His matches versus John Cena. Sorry to anybody that is listening that's going to be offended by these next words. John Cena carried Kevin Owens. Those were Kevin Owens' first WWE matches. You don't think that John Cena wasn't the ring general in those matches? John Cena is always the ring general in every match, and he does not have bad matches. As a matter of fact, go back into the last year, 2 years, 3 years, and tell me, point out when the last time John Cena had a bad match. I mean, as much as people like, oh, he does 5 moves. No, he has a move set. He knows more than 5 moves. You know why he does 5 moves or 6 moves or 7 moves? Is because he doesn't want to get injured and have to retire early. It's why people have move sets.
Yeah. Yeah, so kind of playing it safe out there. Be best safe than sorry.
Yeah.
'Cause I think he looked at guys that looked at like Edge and like Daniel Bryan, those guys.
Their move sets varied, and they ended up retiring much earlier than they needed to. Daniel Bryan, Edge, again, he was at the height, and he had to retire.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan, height, had to retire. Edge still has neck problems. He can't turn his neck completely. Christian, he's still signed with WWE, but he's been benched because he's had too many concussions. Christian was one of my favorites, but it's unfortunate, when you are, when there's a possibility that you could develop a really serious, and I forget the name of the disease. Maybe somebody in the comment section can point that out for me. When you have too many concussions, you can get a disease where it's almost like it's kind of like the
Park,
onset
Park,
of
Park, Parkinson's
it's
disease.
no, it has there's an actual name for it, but it has the it's people mistake it. A lot of doctors will mistake it for the early onset of like Alzheimer's or even like you said, Parkinson's, lots of other diseases that it really isn't.
Yeah,
So
just
yeah, you got to be safe when it comes to
yeah, yeah,
concussions.
yeah.
WWE's not taking any chances.
Yeah, not to go off wrestling, no kind of like like Muhammad Ali had a lot of headshots.
Well, you got to look at the amount of like football players that end up killing themselves at like 45, 50 years
Yeah,
old
yeah,
because
just,
they weren't
yeah,
able to diagnose the fact that they had over
yeah,
probably 17,000 concussions through their career.
yes, Junior Seau.
Junior Seau, he was one. There's lots of, a lot before before the NFL had to implement its concussion policy. And WWE has the concussion policy has been implemented by the exact same person that implemented the concussion policy for the NFL. Um, let's see, we went over the Dean Ambrose, the Undertaker's match versus Shane McMahon.
Yeah,
Can't forget
yeah,
that one.
yeah. I expect Shane to do at least one extreme move,
Shane
dive off
does.
something, dive off something. Cause
Shane
like,
always does
yeah,
something
yeah,
spectacular.
yeah, like did on Raw, he did dive from
That was great.
yeah, that was great. Yeah,
Shane McMahon
that's why
can hang.
I think people shout like this is awesome or holy shit. It was one or two they shouted after he hit the move. Well,
Yeah,
he actually missed though. He actually kind of missed the move a little bit.
yeah. Well, they always kind of miss. It was really great to see Shane McMahon out there like doing like competing. You always
Yeah,
know
the
that
elbow. That's doing the elbow off top of something.
Vince
Or
McMahon, we all know he'll get in there and mix it up, but he's
yeah,
not the athlete. I mean, bodybuilding wise, yes, he's quite an athlete. But wrestling wise, he isn't nearly the athlete that Shane McMahon is.
yeah.
Shane McMahon can actually
Yeah,
pull off
Shane
some
do the dive in the elbow
good
or
stuff.
do the coast to coast move where he jump from one side of the ring to the other.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam did that move a lot in the original ECW.
Yeah, I remember
Um,
that.
Shane McMahon and The Undertaker, if I had to pick, see, this is a tough one for me because I know
Yeah,
it's either Undertaker retires or Shane McMahon takes over Raw. But
yes, it's a conundrum pick.
Undertaker has gone on record as saying he has no plans of retiring. Even though this is going to be in Dallas, AT&T Stadium, the
Yeah,
largest indoor crowd ever, over 100,000 people,
yeah,
will
projected.
would it be a good time for him to retire? I mean, his age, you would think so. He's 53, 52, 53 years old.
Yeah,
Um, but he only does one match. Mostly only does one match a year anyway. But I could see some kind of swerve where, yes, Undertaker, quote unquote, has to retire, but then gets brought back in for next year's WrestleMania.
yeah,
Because we do need a shakeup on Raw of that authority bullshit. I mean,
yeah,
it's like literally the same thing every week. And Shane McMahon has been pumping new vitality into Monday Night Raw. So just for him coming back to the WWE, it's great. But his on-camera presence, it adds a completely different dynamic. So I'm probably gonna go with some way. Maybe they'll even have Undertaker lay down for Shane McMahon just to stick it to Vince McMahon.
I think it might be an interference. Somebody might help Shane win.
That's gonna be difficult to do with the Hell in a Cell. but it still could. It's, we're going on theories, and
Yeah.
that's all we can do right now. But I'm going to guess that either Shane McMahon will have worked, quote unquote, part of the storyline, and will have worked something out with the Undertaker, where the Undertaker, towards the end of the match, just lays down and lets Shane pin him, or there will be an interference, like you said, and they'll work that out. Somehow it'll be a schmoz, and because they don't want to turn Shane McMahon. He's coming in with all this bright um, pop from being a babyface. They don't want to automatically turn him into a heel by having him say be part of the Authority. Wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work for me as a fan, and I don't know if it would work for a lot of people, because we have enough. Stephanie and Triple H doing that Authority thing. It's enough. Not that I don't mind. I like seeing Stephanie. I don't care that her voice is annoying because she's playing a heel. It's supposed to be annoying.
Yeah.
And she's a good-looking woman, and Stephanie can come down every week, and she could
Yeah.
start wrestling more. I would appreciate that. She has a great body now. She works out with Triple H, and whew, Stephanie got stacked. But anyway, I'm gonna be doing this on a weekly basis, and I want to bring more indie feds up, more ROH, more, unfortunately, TNA, more Lucha Underground, Dragon Gate, New Japan, and AAA, CMLL, and I will get to those. If WrestleMania wasn't happening this Sunday, I would have probably got more into those. But as of right now, leave a thumbs up, a subscription, and
Did we cover all the matches? I think
I,
we got a couple of
it,
matches. But there's a couple kind of B level matches, like New Day versus League of Nations, kind of a B
yeah,
match.
and I kind of leave those where they are in the B column. Those are the matches
Yeah.
I particularly care about.
Yeah. And then there's also the potential of WrestleMania being Brie Bella's last match. That
Yeah,
be
again, she's one of the divas that can't wrestle.
yeah.
It's for so those two matches in particular. Now, I will say that New Day is surprisingly, not surprisingly, because I knew they should have debuted as heels instead of faces, and they are very comedic, and they are a
Yeah.
good part of the show. But there are also matches that I'm not really interested in. I mean, I'll be more interested to see, I don't know, definitely Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker instead of The New Day versus
League of Nations.
League of Nations. You got two heel factions going up against each other, so, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy? I
Yeah.
don't know. League of Nations is horrible. It's kind of like being in the, what's that, the Social Outcasts. Why not just join together and be one big job squad 2.0?
Yeah. Yeah. All you do is believe.
But I'm going to say again, leave a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Hell, you can even leave a thumbs down. I don't care. But talk to me. Put in the comments what you would like for me to discuss, and we'll see you next time. This will be a weekly thing from now on, and like I said, I will be discussing more indie feds
Yeah.
as well as WWE or NXT. But we'll see you next time, and I'll let you finish it off with what you say, Darren.
Love, peace, chicken grease, and pork and bean juice.
All right. Night, everybody, or good morning.